ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Namaskar, my dear friends. This is another Upanishadic story in the series of stories of Upanishads. The topic of this story is gods and demons. There is an eternal conflict between the gods and the demons. They are usually depicted as rivals in a contest for power, but here they are shown as rivals in attaining the highest knowledge. The demons are defeated in this competition as their representative is shallow and is satisfied with superficial knowledge, while the representative of the gods persists and finally gets at true knowledge. It is not any external shape or form that really distinguishes a god from demon. It is the inner attitude of a person towards the eternal realities of life that decide his category. This fact has been illustrated by a beautiful allegory by the seer of the Chandogya Upanishad. Once Prajapati declared, "The Atma is unscathed by sin. He is untouched by old age, death, and sorrow of any kind. Hunger and thirst affect him not. He desires nothing but truth. His will is in tune with the reality and therefore is always fulfilled. It is this Atma that ought to be sought and ought to be known. He who tries to find out this Atma and understand him obtains all the words and has all his desires fulfilled." Both the gods and the demons heard of this great pronouncement. They thought, "We shall try to know the Atma. We shall seek this knowledge that promises all the words and the fulfillment of all desires." Indra, king of the gods, and Virochana, the leader of the demons, went to Prajapati with the sacrificial fuel in their hands like disciples. When Prajapati saw them, he asked them, "With what intent are you here, dear friends?" They said, "Great preceptor, sir, it is in order to know from your lips the knowledge of the Atma that we have come to you." Prajapati then asked them to stay with him for 32 years. They stayed on observing the strict discipline of a brahmachari. At the end of that period, Prajapati addressed both of them. This, the person that is visible in the pupil of the eye is the Atma. This Atma is immortal, is fearless. This is a Dharma. It is this that is visible in the water and the mirror when you look into them. Look into both and tell me what you see. Inform me if you do not know the Atma even then. They went again the next day. Prajapati asked them, "Friends, what is it that you observed?" "Sir, we saw all this self of ours. We saw the exact replica of this body from head to foot, from top to toe," said both of them. Then again Prajapati told them, "Shave yourself clean, put on fine clothes and ornaments, then look into the water or the mirror and report to me your impressions." Next morning, both the god Indra and the demon Virochana approached Prajapati and said, "We saw ourselves clean shaven, well dressed, and fully decorated in the water. That's the Atma, the fearless and the deathless one. That is Brahma, said Prajapati. At this reply, both of them seemed to be quite satisfied and they went their way. Prajapati saw them going away and exclaimed to himself, without having known the real Atma, without obtaining real knowledge, they are going away. Whether they be gods or demons, they will inevitably perish if they are satisfied with the mere reflection of the reality. Self satisfied Virochana went to the demons and taught them this knowledge. He fancied that that was the final truth. He said to them, this self is to be glorified, this self is to be served. Glorifying this bodily self and serving it, we obtain both the words, this as well as the next. Even today, the asuras or demons have no true knowledge of the Atma. They are of little faith and they do not give with faith and they perform no sacrifices. They believe this body itself to be the Atma. They decorate the body. It is not conscious of its own existence. How then can that unconscious existence be the Atma, which is described as the ever luminous and the ever conscious self? So he retraced his steps once more to his Guru and explained to him his difficulties. Prajapati was more kind this time and asked him to spend only 5 years more with him. Thus Indra had to stay more than 100 years in all at his Guru's place. After the stay of 5 years, Prajapati called Indra and said, O Indra, you have deserved the knowledge of the highest truth by your persistent effort, tenacity of purpose, and by your penetrative inquiry. This body is a perishable piece of matter. It is devoured by death when the time comes. This is the mortal abode of the immortal bodiless spirit. So long as the spirit lives and is in this body and is attached to it, it seems to be affected by good and bad, by the desirable and the undesirable. But essentially, the bodiless spirit is beyond all dualities. The wind, the cloud, the lightning take form and shape for a time in the formless and shapeless sky. They vanish after their time and function are over. So too, bodies take shape and form and vanish away but are the abodes of the Atma for the time being. So long as the Atma resides in such bodies and attaches himself to them, he seems limited and restricted, but again, when freed from the body, becomes one with the infinite spirit. When the Atma leaves the body, he goes wandering freely in the infinite worlds. The eye, the ear, the senses, the mind are there only in order that the Atma may see and hear and think. It is on account of the Atma and in the Atma that things and beings exist. He is the truth and the final repository of all existence. Indra in return Indra in turn imparted this knowledge to the gods. It is to this knowledge that they owe their godliness. So here ends this video. Please like, comment and share the video and subscribe the channel. Thanks a lot. Namaskar my dear friends.